The glass door slammed so hard it rattled the entire office. "Where do you think you're going?" Tunde's voice cut through the room like a blade. Amara froze mid-step, her hand still on the door handle. Slowly she turned back, her face calm, almost unreadable. "You're 30 minutes late," he continued, walking toward her with measured, heavy steps. "And you think you can just walk in here like nothing happened?" Every eye in the office lifted, keyboards slowed, conversations died. "I'm sorry," Amara said quietly. "Sorry?" Tunde laughed, sharp and mocking. "Do you think this is your father's house? This is a company. My company." A few employees exchanged glances. Some pitied her, others watched with curiosity, like this was just another episode in a show they had come to expect. "I'll make up for the time," she added. "You already have," he snapped. "You'll stay back tonight and finish the reports. Alone." There was a pause. "And if you make one more mistake," he leaned closer, lowering his voice just enough to sound dangerous, "you're fired. I don't care if you're my wife." The word wife hung in the air, heavy and uncomfortable. Amara nodded once. Understood. She walked past him without another word and returned to her desk. Tunde turned to the rest of the staff. "Back to work. This isn't a movie." But even as everyone looked down, the tension remained. What none of them knew was that this wasn't just another morning, and this wasn't just another humiliation, because every word he had just spoken was being remembered, carefully, precisely, and very soon it would matter. If you're already hooked, take a second right now, tell me where you're watching from. I love seeing how far these stories reach across the world. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with someone who loves powerful stories like this. Amara's day didn't get better. By noon, Tunde had called her into his office 3 times. The first time it was for a minor formatting error. "Is this what you call professional work?" he said, tossing the file onto the desk. "I'll correct it," she replied. "You should have corrected it before submitting it." The second time it was for something she didn't even do. "Why did the client keep waiting?" he demanded. "I wasn't in charge of that meeting." "Well, you're in charge now. Fix it." The third time he didn't even pretend. He just wanted to remind her who was in control. "Stand there," he said as she entered. She did. "Do you know why I hired you here?" he asked. She didn't answer. "Because I wanted you to understand something," he continued. "Out there you might have fooled people into thinking you're capable. But here, you're nothing without me." Silence. "I built this company from the ground up," he went on. "Every brick, every deal, every success you think you can just walk in and act like you belong." I never said that," Amara said softly. "No, you didn't," he smirked. "And that's your only smart move so far." He dismissed her with a wave of his hand. As she walked out, one of the senior managers, Mr. Bello, glanced at her briefly. His eyes lingered, as if he wanted to say something, but he didn't. Not yet. At home, things were no different. Tunde dropped his keys on the table and loosened his tie. "What's for dinner?" he asked. "I'll prepare something now," Amara replied. "You should have done that before I got home. I came back late from work." Excuses again. She moved to the kitchen without arguing. From the living room, his voice followed her. "You know, sometimes I wonder what you even bring into this marriage." Her hands paused for just a second over the counter. Then she continued. "I mean it," he said, walking into the kitchen now. "No money, no influence, no value. If not for me, where would you even be?" She turned to face him. "Is that what you think?" she asked. "I don't think," he replied coldly. "I know." A small silence settled between them. Then Amara nodded once. "All right," she said. That was all. No argument, no tears, just acceptance, and somehow that irritated him more. The next morning she arrived early, earlier than everyone else. She sat at her desk, reviewing files, responding to emails, organizing reports. When the staff began to arrive, a few noticed. "She's here already? After yesterday?" Maybe she's trying to impress him. They didn't know the truth. Amara wasn't trying to impress anyone. She was observing every system, every weakness, every person, and most importantly, him. Around midday, a confidential email popped into her inbox. She opened it without hesitation. It contained financial summaries, internal audits, and board-level discussions. Information no ordinary employee should have access to. She read through it calmly, then closed it. Across the room, Mr. Bello watched her. This time he didn't look away. Later that day, Tundi called for a general meeting. Everyone gathered in the conference room. Amara stood at the back. "Performance has been dropping," Tundi announced. "Mistakes are being made. Standards are slipping." His eyes scanned the room, then landed on her. "And some people," he continued, "need to remember they're here because I allow it." A few people shifted uncomfortably. Amara didn't react. "From today," he said, "I'll be implementing stricter supervision, starting with you." He pointed directly at her. "You'll report to me personally, every task, every update, every move." "Yes," she said. "And if you fail," he smiled faintly, "you're out." The meeting ended. As everyone filed out, whispers followed. But Amara stayed behind for a moment. Tunde approached her. "Don't disappoint me again," he said. She looked at him steadily. "I won't," she replied. And for the first time there was something in her eyes he couldn't quite read. "If you've made it this far, you're going to love what's coming next." Drop a comment right now, where are you watching from? And if you haven't subscribed yet, this is your sign. Hit that button, like this video, and share it, because this story is just getting started. Tunde didn't notice it at first. That slight shift, that quiet confidence that had begun to replace Amara's usual softness. But others did. The next few days at the office felt different. Amara still did everything he asked. She submitted reports on time. I attended every meeting, stayed late when ordered, but something about her composure unsettled people. She no longer rushed, she no longer hesitated, and most importantly, she no longer looked afraid. "Amara," Tunde's voice rang across the office again. She stood up immediately and walked into his office. He didn't even look up at her. "Close the door." She did. "I reviewed your report," he said, flipping through the pages. "You think this is acceptable?" "Yes." He paused. Slowly, he lifted his eyes. "Yes," he repeated. "Yes," she said calmly. "Everything in that report is accurate." He let out a short laugh. "Are you arguing with me now?" "I'm stating facts." That did it. He dropped the file on the table and stood up. "Do you know who you're talking to?" he asked, stepping closer. "Yes," she replied. "Then fix it." "There's nothing to fix." The silence that followed was heavy, dangerous. Tunde leaned in, his voice low. "You're getting bold." Amara didn't move. "Or maybe," he continued, "you've forgotten your place." "No," she said quietly. I remember it very clearly. Something in her tone made him pause, but only for a second. "Good," he snapped, "because I can remove you from this company any time I want." Another pause. Then Amara spoke. "Can you?" she asked. The question wasn't loud, but it hit harder than anything she'd said before. Tunde frowned. "What did you just say?" She held his gaze. "Can you?" He stared at her, trying to read her expression. Then he scoffed. "Don't test me, Amara." "I'm not," she replied. "I'm just asking." He waved his hand dismissively. "Get out, before I forget you're my wife." She turned and walked out. But this time she didn't feel small. That evening, something unusual happened. Amara didn't go straight home. Instead, she got into a car waiting outside the office. A black, quiet car. Inside, a man in a suit greeted her with a nod. "Good evening, Ma'am." "Good evening," she replied. He handed her a tablet. "Everything is ready for tomorrow." She reviewed the documents calmly. "Board members confirmed." "Yes, ma'am." "And the audit report?" "Completed." She nodded once. "Good." The car moved. Back at home, Tunde was already there. He glanced at the clock as she entered. "You're late again." "I had something to do." More excuses. She placed her bag down calmly. "Dinner is ready," she said. He frowned. "You cooked before leaving?" "Yes." He sat down, watching her carefully now. "You've been acting strange lately." "Have I?" "Yes." She served him quietly. "Maybe I'm just tired," she said. He didn't respond immediately. Instead, he studied her. There was something he couldn't quite place. Something off. The next morning, the office buzzed with tension. Rumours were spreading fast. Emergency board meeting? Why so sudden? Something big is happening. Tunde walked in, adjusting his suit, confidence written all over him. He loved moments like this. Control, power, attention. "Everyone stay sharp today," he announced. "We have important guests." His eyes briefly landed on Amara. She was already seated, reviewing something on her desk. Calm as ever. Too calm. By midday, the board members began to arrive. High-level executives. People Tunde rarely even interacted with directly. He straightened his tie again, preparing himself. This was his moment. He had been pushing for more authority, more recognition. Maybe today everything would change. "Mr. Tunde," Mr. Bello approached him. "Yes, the meeting will begin shortly." "Good," Tunde said, "I'm ready." Mr. Bello hesitated, then he added, "Everyone will be there." Tunde smirked, as they should. Inside the boardroom, the atmosphere was different, quiet, seriously, almost expectant. Tunde took his seat confidently. He glanced around the table. Then he noticed something. One seat at the head of the table was empty. Reserved. He frowned slightly. "Who are we waiting for?" he asked. No one answered. Immediately. Instead, Mr. Bello spoke. "The majority shareholder." Tunde blinked. "What?" "The majority shareholder," Mr. Bello repeated. "They requested to be present today." Tunde leaned back slightly. "That's unexpected." "Yes," Mr. Bello said calmly. "It is." A silence followed. Then the door opened. Everyone turned. Footsteps echoed softly across the room. Tunde looked toward the entrance and froze. Amara walked in, not hesitantly, not quietly, but with a calm, steady confidence that filled the room. She wasn't dressed like an employee today. Everything about her presence had changed. She walked straight to the empty seat at the head of the table and sat down. Silence. Heavy, unbelievable silence. Tunde let out a short laugh. "What is this?" he said. "Amara, this isn't funny. Get out of that seat." No one moved. No one spoke. Amara folded her hands on the table and looked directly at him. "This meeting can begin now," she said. Tunde's smile faded. "What are you doing?" Mr. Bello cleared his throat. "Mr. Tunde, allow me to introduce..." He paused briefly, then finished. "The majority shareholder of this company." Tunde's eyes flicked between them. Confusion, disbelief, annoyance. "What are you talking about?" he demanded. Mr. Bello gestured toward Amara. "She is the owner of this company." Silence crashed over the room again. Tunde stared at her. Then I laughed again, louder this time. "This is a joke," he said. "It has to be." Amara didn't react. Instead, she slid a document across the table. "Take a look," she said. He hesitated. Then I grabbed it. His eyes scanned the pages, and slowly the colour drained from his face. "No," he muttered. His hands tightened around the paper. "This isn't possible." "It is," she replied calmly. How?" "You should have read what you signed," she said. The room was completely still now. Every eye on him, every breath held. Tunde looked up at her, his voice barely steady. "Did you plan this?" Amara tilted her head slightly. "I prepared," she said. He shook his head, stepping back slightly. No, this doesn't make sense. I built this company." "You managed it," she corrected. The difference hit harder than any insult. "You don't understand," he said desperately. "This is my company." Amara's expression didn't change. "No," she said quietly. "It never was." If you're feeling that moment right now, go ahead and drop a comment. Where are you watching from? And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with someone. Because what happens next is even more intense. The paper slipped slightly in Tunde's trembling hands. No, this is wrong," he said, shaking his head as if denial could rewrite reality. "There has to be a mistake." "There isn't," Amara replied calmly. Her voice wasn't loud, but it carried across the entire room with quiet authority. Tunde looked around, searching for any sign that this was some elaborate prank. But every face he met was serious. Some avoided his gaze. Others watched him with something close to pity. Mr. Bellows spoke again. "All shares were legally transferred months ago. Every document was signed and verified." Tunde snapped his head toward him. "Transferred? By who?" Amara leaned back slightly in her chair. "By you," she said. The words landed like a hammer. Tunde's breathing grew uneven. "That's impossible. I would never." "You did," she interrupted gently. "You just didn't read what you were signing." His mind raced back contracts, late-night documents, papers he had waved through without a second glance, trusting his own control, trusting that nothing could slip past him. He looked back at her, and for the first time there was no anger in his eyes. Just fear. "What do you want?" he asked quietly. Amara studied him for a moment before answering. "Today's meeting isn't about what I want," she said. "It's about what this company needs." Tunde swallowed hard. "And what does it need?" he asked. "A change." The word echoed. Final. Unavoidable. Mr. Bello pressed a button, and a screen behind them lit up. Financial reports, performance charts, internal complaints, evidence. Amara didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. "These are records from the past year," she said. Declining client satisfaction, high staff turnover, repeated internal complaints about leadership. Each point hit like a quiet accusation. Tunde stared at the screen. "That's normal," he muttered weakly. "Every company has issues." "Yes," Amara agreed, "but not every company ignores them." She tapped the table lightly. "Let's talk about your management style." Another slide appeared. Anonymous employee testimonies. "He humiliates staff in meetings. He creates a toxic environment. No one feels safe speaking up." Tunde's jaw tightened. "These are lies." "They're patterns," Amara corrected. He slammed his hand on the table. "You're turning everyone against me." "No," she said, her voice steady. "You did that yourself." Silence again. He looked around the room. No one defended him. No one spoke. Because deep down, they knew. "And then there's this," Amara continued. The screen changed again. Unauthorized decisions, financial risks, deals made without proper approval. Tunde's voice rose. I was trying to grow the company. At the cost of stability, she replied. I was taking risks. You were gambling, she said. The difference stung. You don't understand what it takes to run a company, he snapped. Amara held his gaze. I understand exactly what it takes, she said quietly. That quiet confidence broke something in him. For a moment, the room felt too small, too heavy, too real. Tunde leaned back, running a hand through his hair. So what now? He asked, his voice lower now. You expose all this and then what? You fire me? Amara didn't answer immediately. Instead, she looked around the table. Any objections? She asked. No one spoke. That silence said everything. Tunde let out a hollow laugh. Of course, he muttered. Of course no one objects. He looked back at her. So go ahead, he said bitterly. Finish it. Amara nodded once. Effective immediately, she said. You are relieved of your position. The words were simple, but they carried the weight of everything that had led to this moment. Tunde didn't move, didn't speak, didn't react. For a few seconds it was like time itself had paused. Then slowly he stood up. This isn't over, he said, though his voice lacked its usual strength. Amara didn't respond, because she didn't need to. Security arrived quietly at the door, not aggressively, not forcefully. Just a present. Tunde glanced at them, then back at her. You planned all this, he said. I prepared, she repeated. He shook his head slowly. All this time, he murmured. All this time, you just let me. Yes, she said. Why? That question lingered, not angry, not accusing, just broken. Amara paused, then finally answered. Because I needed to see who you really were when you thought you had all the power. The truth settled between them, heavy, unavoidable. Tunde looked down, and for the first time he had no response. He walked out of the room without another word. No shouting, no resistance, just silence. The same silence he had forced on others now wrapped around him. Inside the boardroom no one spoke for a moment. Then Mr. Bello turned to Amara. Congratulations, he said quietly. She nodded slightly. Thank you. Another board member leaned forward. What's the next step? Amara looked at the screen, then back at them. We rebuild, she said. Simple, clear, certain. Outside, the office was buzzing. Whispers spread like wildfire. Did you hear? He's gone. Fired. No way. And her, she's the owner? Employees who had once ignored her now watched her differently. With respect. With curiosity. With disbelief. Amara stepped out of the boardroom. The entire floor seemed to pause. She walked forward, calmly. No rush, no hesitation. Mr. Bello followed slightly behind. Someone stood up, then another and another, until slowly the entire office rose to their feet, not out of fear, but respect, real respect. Amara stopped for a moment, taking it in, then gave a small nod, and continued walking. If you've been watching this journey unfold, this is your moment. Drop a comment right now and tell me where you're watching from. I love seeing our global family come together. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button, like this video and share it with someone who needs to see this. That evening, the house felt different, quieter, empty. Amara walked in, placing her keys gently on the table. For the first time in a long time, there was no tension in the air, no criticism waiting, no voice ready to tear her down. She moved through the space slowly, then stopped. Footsteps. Behind her. She turned. Tunde stood there, He looked different, not polished, not confident, just tired. "I needed to talk to you," he said. Amara didn't respond immediately. She simply waited. "I didn't know," he continued. "I swear I didn't know." "I know," she said. He swallowed. "Then why didn't you tell me?" She looked at him, really looked at him. "Would it have changed anything?" she asked. He hesitated, and that hesitation was the answer. "I made mistakes," he said quietly. "I know that now." Amara didn't interrupt. I thought I was in control," he went on. "I thought I was building something important." "You were," she said. He looked up, surprised. "But you forgot something," she added. "What?" "People." The word hung between them, simple, powerful, true. He nodded slowly. "I see that now." Another silence. Then, "I'm sorry," he said. The words came out heavy, not forced, not defensive, just real. Amara took a breath. "I believe you," she said. Hope flickered in his eyes. But then she continued. "But that doesn't change anything." And just like that, the hope faded. "You don't get to hurt people," she said calmly, "and then expect everything to go back to normal because you said sorry." He nodded again, slowly, painfully. "I understand." And this time he really did. "I'll move out," he added. Amara didn't stop him, didn't argue, didn't try to fix it, because some things couldn't be undone. As he turned to leave, he paused. "Amara." She looked at him. "You were never useless," he said. A small, sad smile touched her lips. "I know," she replied. And that was the final difference. He walked away. Not as the man who controlled everything, but as someone who finally understood what he had lost. Amara stood there for a moment, then turned toward the window. The city lights stretched endlessly before her. For the first time, she wasn't holding back. She wasn't waiting. She wasn't proving anything. She was simply in control. Power isn't loud. It doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need to prove itself. It waits. It watches. And when the moment comes, it changes everything. If this story moved you, don't forget to drop your location in the comments. Let's see how far this has reached. And if you haven't already, subscribe, like, and share this video with someone. Because stories like this remind us all of one thing. Never underestimate someone just because they chose to stay silent. The next morning, the company felt unfamiliar. Not chaotic, not tense, just different. People arrived early, but instead of whispers and sideways glances, there was a quiet focus in the air. Something had shifted overnight. Amara stepped out of the elevator, her presence no longer unnoticed. Conversations paused, not out of fear, but awareness, respect. She walked past the reception, past the same desks where she had once been overlooked, and into the space that used to shrink her. Now it didn't. "Good morning, ma'am," the receptionist said quickly. Amara gave a small nod. "Good morning." It was simple, but it meant everything. In her office now, she stood for a moment before sitting. No rush, no pressure, just clarity. A knock came. "Come in." Mr. Bellows stepped inside, holding a folder. "Morning," he said, "morning." He placed the folder on her desk. Initial reports, staff retention, client feedback, pending contracts. She opened it, scanning quickly. "Call a general meeting," she said. He nodded. "Right away." He paused, then added, "They're ready to listen." Amara looked up at him. "Good," she said, "because things are about to change." Within the hour, the entire staff gathered again. Same room, same seats, but nothing felt the same. Amara stood at the front this time, not at the back, not silent, not invisible. She looked at them really. I know the past few months haven't been easy, she began. No long speech, no unnecessary words, just the truth. I've seen the reports, I've read your feedback, I've heard your concerns. A few employees shifted, surprised. I also know many of you felt like you couldn't speak up. Silence. Not uncomfortable, just honest. That changes today. The words settled, clear, final. We're restructuring leadership, she continued. Departments will be reviewed, processes improved, and most importantly, this will become a place where people are respected. There was a slight shift in the room. Hope. Careful, but present. No more public humiliation, she said. No more fear-based management. If there's a problem, we fix it. Together. A hand slowly raised from the middle row. Amara nodded. Go ahead. It was a young woman, nervous, hesitant. Does that mean we can actually speak up now? Amara met her eyes. Yes, she said simply. The woman nodded almost in disbelief. After the meeting, people didn't rush back to their desks. They lingered, talking, processing. For the first time in a long time, they felt seen. By afternoon, changes had already started. Departments reorganized, pending complaints reviewed, team leads reassigned. Amara moved through it all with calm precision, not rushed, not overwhelmed, just focused. Later that day, she walked through the office floor again, but this time something else happened. Mom, someone called. She turned. It was one of the junior staff members. Yes. Thank you, he said. Just that. No long speech, no explanation, just gratitude. Amara nodded once. You're welcome. By evening, the building began to empty. Lights turned off one by one. Desks cleared, voices faded. Amara remained, not because she had to, but because she chose to. She stood by the window again, looking out at the city. Same view, different meanings. Her phone buzzed. A message, unknown number. She opened it. I've left the house. The keys are on the table, Tunda. She read it once, then locked the phone. No reply. Not because she didn't care, but because there was nothing left to say. The next few weeks passed quickly, but not quietly. Change never is. There were challenges, resistance from some, doubt from others. But slowly, steadily things improved. Client satisfaction rose. Team morale shifted. People started showing up not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, present. One afternoon during a strategy session, a board member leaned forward. I have to say, he began, the turnaround has been impressive. Amara didn't react much. We're just getting started, she replied. He smiled slightly. That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say. Outside the office, her life found a new rhythm. Simpler, quieter, but stronger. No tension waiting at home. No voice questioning her worth. Just peace. One evening, as she stepped out of a meeting, she saw him. Across the street, Tunde. He wasn't dressed in a suit, no. Polished image. No authority surrounding him, just a man standing still, watching. For a moment, their eyes met. He didn't walk closer, didn't speak, he just gave a small nod. Respect, acceptance, maybe even regret. Amara held his gaze for a second, then nodded back, and walked away. Because some chapters don't need closure, they just end. Back at the office, her assistant approached. There's a call scheduled with the international partners, she said. Amara nodded. Put it through. As she walked into the conference room, the screen lit up with faces from different parts of the world, different countries, different time zones, different stories, but all connected now to something she was building, something real. If you're watching this from anywhere in the world right now, drop your location in the comments. I'd love to know where you're watching from. And if you've made it this far, don't forget to subscribe, like this video and share it with someone who needs this reminder, because here's the truth. Power isn't about control. It's not about who speaks the loudest or who dominates the room. Real power. It is quiet. It listens. It learns. It waits. And when the time is right, it acts. Amara didn't need to prove anything anymore. Not to the company, not to the people, not even to him. Because she already knew something most people spend their whole lives trying to understand. Your value doesn't decrease just because someone fails to see it. And sometimes the strongest move you can make is to stay silent until it's time to speak. If this story stays with you, don't leave without doing this. Tell me where you're watching from. Subscribe if you haven't. Like the video and share it with someone. Because stories like this aren't just entertainment, they're reminders. And sometimes, that's exactly what someone needs. The call with the international partners ended on a strong note. Impressive turnaround, one of them said before signing off. We're looking forward to a long-term collaboration. Amara nodded. So are we. The screen went dark. Silence returned to the room. Mr. Bello exhaled softly. That's the third major deal this week. Amara closed the file in front of her. It won't be the last. He studied her for a moment. You've changed everything in a very short time. No, she said. I removed what was blocking it. He smiled faintly. That too. Days turned into weeks, and the company transformed. Where tension once lived, there was now structure. Where fear once controlled, there was now accountability. People spoke up. Ideas flowed, and results followed. But success didn't make Amara louder. It made her quieter, more precise, more intentional. One afternoon during a review session, a senior manager hesitated before speaking. I have a concern, he said. Amara looked up. Go ahead. In the past, raising issues like this, he paused, choosing his words carefully. Wasn't always received well. She nodded once. This isn't the past. The room stilled. He continued, I think we're expanding too fast in one region. It could affect stability. Amara didn't interrupt, didn't dismiss him. She listened, fully. When he finished, she leaned back slightly. Let's review the numbers again, she said. If there's a risk, we adjust. The man blinked, almost surprised. That's it? He asked. That's it, she replied. A few people exchanged glances. It was a small moment, but it meant everything. Later that day, Amara sat alone in her office, reviewing projections. Her phone buzzed again, this time a different message. Can we talk? Just once, Tunde. She stared at the screen for a few seconds, then placed the phone face down. Not out of anger, not out of resentment, but clarity. Some conversations come too late. The weekend arrived quietly. No urgent calls, no unresolved tension, just space. Amara decided to visit one of the company's outreach projects, a small initiative she had funded months before, long before anyone knew her role. It was simple, local, focused on training young people in practical skills. When she arrived, no one recognized her as the owner, and that was exactly how she wanted it. She walked through the space, observing, listening, learning. A young woman approached her. Are you here for the program? She asked. Amara smiled slightly. Just visiting. The woman nodded. It's changed a lot of lives already. Amara looked around. People are learning, trying, building something for themselves. That's good, she said softly. On her way out, she paused, noticing a small sign near the entrance. Funded by A Initiative. No full name, no spotlight, just impact. She turned and walked away quietly. Monday came again. Fresh, focused, another meeting, another set of decisions. But this time something unexpected happened. Her assistant knocked lightly. "Ma'am, there's someone here to see you." "Who?" He didn't give details, but he said it's important. Amara paused for a second, then nodded. "Send him in." The door opened, and Tunde walked in. He looked different again, not just tired this time, humbled, grounded. He stopped a few steps inside the office. "I won't take much of your time," he said. Amara gestured slightly. "Go ahead," he nodded. "I've been thinking," he began. She didn't respond. "I spent so much time trying to control everything," he continued. "The company, the people, you." A pause, and I lost all of it. Amara watched him quietly. "But that's not why I'm here," he added. "Then why are you here?" she asked. He took a breath. "I want to work," he said. The words hung in the air, simple, unexpectedly. "Not here," he quickly added. "I know I don't deserve that." Amara didn't interrupt. "I just want to start over," he said. "Properly this time." She studied him, not the man he used to be, but the one standing in front of her now, stripped of ego, stripped of control, just honest. "And you came to tell me that?" she asked. He nodded. "Yes." A small silence followed. Then Amara spoke. "Good," she said. He blinked slightly. "Good?" "Yes," she replied. "Because that's where it starts." He let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. "Thank you," he said. She nodded once. "You don't need my approval to rebuild your life," she added. "Just don't repeat the same mistakes." "I won't," he said quickly, then corrected himself. "I'll try not to." That honesty mattered more. He turned to leave, but paused at the door. "For what it's worth," he said, "you were right." Amara didn't ask what he meant. She already knew. He gave a small nod. Then I walked out. This time there was no weight left behind, no unfinished tension, just closure. As the door closed, her assistant stepped in. "Everything okay?" she asked. Amara looked back at her desk. "Yes," she said. And she meant it. The day continued. Meetings, decisions, progress. But beneath all of it, there was something steady, unshaken, peace. Later that evening, as the office lights dimmed again, Amara stood by the window one last time. The city moved below. Unstoppable. Alive. Full of stories just like hers. Some are still beginning, some in the middle, some finally reaching their turning point. If you've stayed with this story till the very end, I want you to do something right now. Drop your location in the comments. Let's see how far this message has reached across the world. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Because at the end of the day, this wasn't just about a company, or a marriage, or power. It was about something deeper. Knowing your worth, even when no one else sees it. Holding your ground, even when it's uncomfortable. And understanding that silence, it is not a weakness. It's a strategy. Amara didn't win because she fought harder. She won because she understood something most people overlook. Timing, truth, and self-worth. And when those three align, there's nothing anyone can take from you. The story ends here. But the message, that stays with you, always.